Major 4x4!
How's it going, everybody? Major 4x4 here to bring you something just a tiny bit different. And the reason for that is because. Let me fix that. I'm not Austin Powers, so I don't need my chest hair to keep showing. Anywho, bring you something a little bit different. And this is for the people who are wanting to start up a YouTube channel. Now, I know some people's not going to listen to a person who only has, like, at this time, 16 subscribers. But this is, stuff that I used, and I don't have literally, anything that classifies as for any of the good other YouTubers like Markiplier, Jack, and all them. I don't have any of that stuff. Excuse me, that they have almost at all. So I'm just kind of going through the whole entire thing of what you could use, budget wise, then what you could use when you decide to upgrade, and then what you could use when you want to do this professionally. But, this is just for the people who's wanting to start out going and doing YouTube. Here are some things that I think would actually be beneficial for everybody. First thing, and we're just going to go ahead and pop right into it, is your software. Okay? Now, the typical software that a lot of the YouTubers use and streamers, now, like, this isn't just for YouTubers, this is also for streamers. And my light is just has a mind of its own today. There we go. Hey, that worked. All right. Like for streamers and YouTubers alike, they usually use OBS. OBS, which stands for Open Broadcast, was Open Broadcast System or Open Broadcast Software. You can get it in 64-bit and 32-bit depending on what type of PC you have. This is pretty much your standard sort of thing. You can set up your video capture device, which aka your webcam, your audio input capture device, your microphone, audio output, your headphones or speakers or however you want to do that, your display capture. Now they have a game capture on here. See, like right where you at? Where you at? There you go. They have a game capture on here, but every time I try to use it, it chooses whether it wants to use it or not. So I suggest just using display capture. And if you're playing like a browser game, sort of like how I did with Ex Mortis, window capture is a good one because that way it enlarges just a specific area. And where that was kind of a low resolution sort of game, you can put it right there onto the window capture, and then boom, you're good. I highly recommend just display capture because let's lock these in place. Because of the fact that it captures everything. When you play a full screen game, it captures the whole entire full screen and everything. Right here, we'll go to your settings. This is my recommended settings for recording. For streaming, I'm still trying to figure that out. So if anybody has a better thing for streaming, by all means, put it in the comments down below so that we can all learn from it. But the general settings, pretty much just kind of leave this alone. Just whenever, just leave, just leave the default settings. Because it's pretty much, you won't have to ever worry about that. Stream, this is your server and stream key and everything that sorts. That's an old stream key for the old Major Gaming channel. It shows how long it's been since I streamed because my PC isn't strong enough, I found out. Anywho, streaming, right here, I suggest doing advanced setting. You can have a simple setting, but really advanced setting is the way to go. And what you want to do, because mine has a new NVIDIA card in there, and let me just pick you up here. Look at me. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Okay, right here is my PC. Okay? That's right. I'm streaming from my laptop. So, this is pretty much my recording. The ZBook. I got it when I was in school. It's an i7 ninth gen. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. It's an i7 ninth gen. It's a Bang& Ol- Olufsen brand. Is that how you say that? Anywho, yeah, it's dusty as all hell. I need to clean this thing. But I was using the onboard. I was using the onboard webcam for the videos that I was making. That's why it was kind of in a crappy quality and stuff. And and the laptop is great. It's an i7 ninth gen. It's actually the highest i7 there is. This thing is built is a workstation computer for building video games. This thing is not cheap. And when I went to school, I went to Full Sail University, and they provided this to me. That's the only reason why I even have this. Otherwise, I probably couldn't afford this damn thing, and I'd probably be still working on my 2007 iBuyPower, PC, which I still love very much, and I miss that thing. The motherboard died in the thing, but anyways, that's pretty much about it. Like I got, this, like I said, from doing school. You can use any sort of PC to do this. I recommend just something that has a lot of RAM and a good CPU, so that way it can handle gaming and recording at the same time. Because even mine, it's a workstation computer. It's built to go and design video games. It's still it's still missing on some of the videos. Like I have to put it at medium. Like the graphics in this thing is beautiful. I can play Death Stranding if I really want to on ultra. But that where it takes so much CPU and graphics power, it lacks on the recording and stuff like that. But I know I went off topic like usual. Everybody knows I go off topic a lot. Anyway, what you want to do, you're streaming, encoder, put it in NVIDIA, NVENC. Now, what that does, the H.264 new, a lot of the new NVIDIA cards and stuff, mine just happens to have it, which is pretty damn cool. But a lot of the new graphics cards, NVIDIA graphics cards, have this, and this is wonderful for encoding. It encodes super fast. It encodes so wonderful. I highly recommend that you put your encoding to that. Rescale output. That's all in case you want to say rescale it from, I don't know, 4K to 1920, just so so on and so forth. Rate controls. Go ahead and put it on CBR. Bitrate. This is where I have trouble on because my internet's good. My internet's 300 megabytes per second. I love my internet. Like I said, my computer is what's having the trouble. Have it at 1500 kilobytes per second, which is uber low. I mean, uber low. I mean, even just to stream on YouTube, you literally have to have this thing at 4500 kilobytes per second. So that's just to have a good stream on YouTube without any sort of hiccups or anything of the sort. Even then, that's still a little bit of a hiccup. Keyframe interval. Go ahead and just set that to auto. I tried messing with this, but I just suggest going to auto. Preset, go to performance because that makes it go faster because you have quality, max performance, low latency, and all that. Just putting it at performance is pretty good. It gets rid of that horrible latency and also goes and has a pretty solid stream to it. Pretty much profile main. Ooh, that was an ambulance. Anyways, profile main. I think that's all it's always stayed at main. But look ahead, go ahead and uncheck that. You don't want that. Psycho visual tuning. Honestly, this was like a uses encoder settings to optimize and use bitrate to increase. See, like it was a default setting, so I just kind of left it on there. GPU 0, max B frames 2. And then on recording wise, this is where I go and like really push it out because I want to have a good experience for everybody. I try to go and provide, you know, solid videos, no hiccups, no nothing, just a solid video. And I finally figured it out. And that's that. I mean, if you see my like first videos and you see when I started doing webcam and stuff like that, excuse me, I've been drinking coffee, so uh, uh, you know, doing the webcam and stuff like that, it always had a hiccup, always. And I finally figured it out after so much tuning and everything of that sorts. I finally figured it out. Type standard. Now you will also do this the output mode for advanced. Type standard recording path. Put it to wherever you want it. I got it going to my external, so that way, because it has a lot more space than this damn thing does. So I put it on my external so I can, go and keep them on there, and then edit them, so on and so forth. Uh, Generate a file name without space. You can do that. I mean, you can change it to where it doesn't have a space, but that's really not needed. It really doesn't change anything. Recording format. Now, this is all up to you and your editing software. Okay? I chose MP4 because the editing software that I use doesn't, for some reason, anytime I try to use MOV or something like that, it has a tough time going and reading the MOV to edit it. And every time it would be on MOV, it would sit there and there would be some lag and everything of that sort. And, it was a big problem. But so I chose MP4 and it I've had nothing but wonderful things. So like I said, experiment, see what your editing software and your just what you feel comfortable with. Because if you feel comfortable with MP4, go with MP4. If you like MOV better, go with MOV. It's all up to you, but I just happen to like MP4s. Encoder, same thing as the streaming, which would be the NVIDIA NVENC H.264 new. Again, wonderful picture, wonderful encoding. It does such a remarkable job. Rescale output, just like streaming. So, rate control, just like streaming, CBR. Bitrate. Okay, so bitrate, you can put this thing up to a good amount. This is where I experimented on. Okay, because bitrate, you're not having to use. You're using more of your. If I remember correctly now, if I'm wrong, please go to the comments down below because I don't want to steer anybody wrong. And everything that sorts. But it's pretty much using your CPU power for recording, while streaming was using, of course, your internet settings and CPU power. The recording's just using your CPU power, and I have this at 20,000 kilobytes per second, and it runs so smooth. It like I barely had a hiccup. I think the only time I've ever had a hiccup in the game was what was it the baby in yellow. I think it kind of hiccuped just a smidgen. Other than that, I mean, it was completely fine. Keyframe interval 0. You want it on auto. Preset performance. Profile main. Of course, cycle visual tuning GPU 0, and max B frames 2. So leave those the same. Pretty much just change those. But I also have 2 audio tracks for my recording, and I'll get to that here in a minute. Why? Audio, leave this the same. I really haven't really messed with it, and I haven't really had a need to mess with it. So replay buffer, same thing. Audio. Now this is where I can where I did a lot of damage on my original videos. Sample rate 44.1 kilohertz. Channels, of course, stereo. Desktop, I disabled all of these. And because it was interfering with one another, and it's just better to go and sit there and just add them in the bottom and not mess with this, not mess with the devices at all, because of the fact that it counteracts with each other. Because they have a default thing where it says like desktop audio and microphone. Get rid of that. Get rid of those two, and just put in your audio output and audio input. Trust me. Meters fast. Peak meter simple or sample. My bad. Sample peak monitoring device. All right. So I have this as my headset earphone Razer on the chat setting because I tried it in the game setting, it didn't work correctly, so I put it on the chat setting. Now, this is where it became a problem. When I was doing a monitoring, I think SpongeBob, not the Battle for Bikini Bottom, maybe for Battle for Bikini Bottom as well, but that Krusty Krab one, the horror game, you can hear an echo. Okay? That was the reason why. And I'll show you how to stop that. Okay? Hotkeys, there's really no need for this. Enable push to mute. If you're using a headset, there's usually a mute switch, which mine's right here. That's usually what I mess with. Or if you're using a microphone, they usually have a mute button right there on the mic and everything of that sort. So there's nothing to really worry about on that. So no, you don't have to mess with that. Video. Now, this is something I messed with for a little bit, and the best thing I've ever done was, of course, 1920 1080. That's a standard setting, depending on how your resolution is for your computer. Put it on that. 60 frames per second, common. And then you want to put your downscale filter to Lensgos, sharpen scale and 36 samples. It seemed to do pretty good on that. I had it on another setting. I can't open it up to actually see it because I have to see it visually because I'm recording, obviously. But so I couldn't tell you what the other setting was, but keep it on that. It seemed to be running pretty good. Now I tried the quote unquote Markiplier way, and the reason I'll use quotations is because he never really said this is the way he does this. People just assume and just want views because they said this is the Markiplier way. And that was if your camera is 1920 1080, and of course your screen is 1920 1080, what you do is you add the 1920s together, which would make 3840. And you'd put 3840 by 1080 on there, and you would have your webcam on one side and your game on the other. That way you can, change, your webcam to go like up and down, left, right, zoom in, zoom out, all the fancy stuff. But when I tried it, it didn't really work correctly. It stuttered a lot. Like it was horribly stuttery. It was bad. Maybe upping the kilobytes per second could help on the recording side. But otherwise, it was very stuttery. That's why you always see me on the top left-hand corner, just chilling, because you can move your camera whichever way, so on and so forth. Anywho, hotkeys. That's just your hotkeys. Self-explanatory. Get my start and stop recording, and my pause and unpause recording. And then advanced. There's really nothing to really mess with here. Kind of leave this the same, except for your process priority. You want to put this above normal. And the reason for that is because of the fact that, say, like here in a minute, I'm getting ready to open Chrome to show, some products that would be nice for y'all to use. For to go and, start with, your YouTube journey or your streaming journey and stuff like that. It would put Chrome above that, and you would have stuttering in your you'd have latency in your recording. So if you put that above normal, it actually fixes that. So you don't have to worry about that. So Gonna hit OK. That's pretty much it on here. Like I have, of course, my webcam. I, webcam only gameplay, which is me in the top left-hand corner. With the gameplay right there, which I need to kind of make me a little tiny bit bigger. I can show you how to do that. So, unlock, click, and click and drag. Hello. Need to like right there. Yeah, that works. Now, go ahead and just lock that back. That way, if you accidentally click on this, you can't move anything. Gameplay on the right side. God, I'm a lot bigger on the right side than I am on the left side. Anywho, this is for games that have a strict UI to the left, top left. Tattletale was one that I used mostly on the right side because of the fact that it had, all of its information to the left. So and the only thing they had to the right was the megaphone that said if you're making noise or not. And of course, we get. Sorry, I don't think it picked up the microphone on that one. But we have gameplay only. That just shows the gameplay. Like if I want to just say show, I don't know, the beginning cutscene. Okay, like if it just had like Full Throttle has their like little opening cutscene and stuff like that. If I just want to show that and me just go away, so that way y'all can just pay attention to that, I could do that. It's really awesome. You can set up everything. This thing is uber customizable. I highly recommend OBS. Now, another thing is your editing software. Now, a lot of people think that was Adobe Premiere? I think it's Adobe Premiere is your only source of editing software. Not true. I actually found a free one, a free editing software, and it's so easy to use. It's called DaVinci Resolve, and this thing is a lifesaver. It really is. It's super simple to use. If you want me to do like an editing tutorial for you, just a simple editing tutorial, I can. I don't mind. I can show you how to use DaVinci Resolve. I don't mind at all. But DaVinci Resolve is completely free, except if you want of course, like the ultra effects and stuff like that. Put in blur motions here and this. But if you're just doing simple editing like I do, damn it. If you just want to do simple editing like I do, then you can just use the free one. The free one is more than capable of doing whatever you want it to do. I mean, I was able to create my opening scene that you see in the video. Yeah, the opening scene that you see in the video, the ending scene that you see in the video, and of course, just edit it down and like I could post like little things here and little things there and stuff like that. And it's completely free. It is wonderful software. Drag and drop, very user friendly. Instead of using like complicated stuff like Adobe Premiere uses, it uses nodes, which is a lot simpler than learning all that other stuff. It's just simple drag and drop method. I love it to death. Uh, and then pretty much your camera. Okay, like camera, mic is another. Camera and mic is a good important one. You don't have to have a camera. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of streamers. Shroud never used a camera for a while, I think. Game Grumps doesn't use a camera on their thing. They do now for some reason, but they never used to. Mark, when he first started, didn't use a camera on his Let's Plays. Neither did Jack. I mean, you can use pretty much anything that can plug up to a computer, either micro HDMI or just USB, can be used as a webcam. Like right now, I'm using a cheapo phone. Like I'm using a a $30 phone as my webcam. And what it is this software. If you have Android, I suggest DroidCam. It's completely free. They have an HD mode where you can put it to your highest settings that your phone can handle, and you can just post it right there. You can just put it right there on the screen. It's really nice. And You can also as also an audio setting. So if you think you have a good mic, or if you think you have a good mic on your phone or something like that, you can use the mic settings on your phone. You can use the audio settings so that way it can pick up your voice as well and everything. Uh, Microphone wise, that's where it gets a little bit tricky because of the fact that you want you wish to remove gameplay. There we go. Hopefully that got back on. But the reason that why it's so microphones are essential because you don't want something that will blow out your audience's ears, and you want something that's very not visually, but like audibly pleasing to them. I chose for right now, and of course I'm going to upgrade at some point, is this Razer headset. It's a Razer Kraken Tournament Edition. I bought for $100 at Walmart, which which was not bad because I looked on the Razer site and it was $100 there. So, and it had a good mic setup and everything. And I had the biggest trouble because that monitoring thing I had on the software here. Well, I was hearing myself. Like at first, I couldn't hear myself at all, and you see, like I was like this the entire time I was like playing scary games, which I want the full embrace. But the earpiece was like this, so I can hear myself, and so that way I can hear what I'm saying and not talking too loud, not talking too soft or anything of that sorts. And then so I put on the audio monitoring software from OBS on there, and so it was coming through my earphones, my voice, and it was coming through the audio output device. I'm like, okay, so that's fine. It just means that it's working. It was doubling the sound. Not only were you getting my mic sound, but you were also getting my voice coming through the earphones, and then it was going also through the game, which caused a big amount of trouble. So, and then I found out that Razer had a software, which is the Razer Synopsys. Yeah. And I found out that they had their own mic monitoring side tone, which I have on. It doesn't go through the audio output device, it just goes through the headset, period. And I can hear myself while having both sides in, and it's not going, and you're not hearing double. And I love that. I'm glad I found that. That was a lifesaver on that one. But if you can use your headset mic. You can get yourself a headset from Walmart, Amazon, whatever, for like 20-30 bucks. You don't have to buy the Razer one. This was like a splurge buy. I was just like, hey, I always heard Razer was good, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy a Razer headset. And I never. This is before I even did YouTube. Like I was just doing it so my friends could hear me better on Xbox. Like that was it. And then I did YouTube. I was like, well, I need a good microphone and everything. And then I was like, oh yeah, my headset sounds pretty damn good. And so I used that instead. Uh, Other thing I recommend is a good light, because a good light, you want it to shine right on you. Okay, because you want the see how the background right here is sort of popping a little bit. This was oh, a video I just had. I had an idea. I was in town today, and I just decided to go ahead. I was like, I want to help people who are wanting to do this, wanting to go and do YouTube, but don't know what to do, don't know what software to get and stuff like that. So I wanted to help people out. And so that's why I don't have like the can or the need to move my head. The light back there on. I got found my mother found that light, the little professional photography lights. I think it was either at a yard sale or Goodwill, and she only paid like I don't know, 5 maybe $10 for them. Didn't have the hood or anything, so there was no hood for this thing. So I usually have it like off to the side and have it on, so that way it, you know, brightens this side of my face, and then of course I got just a regular ass table lamp here, to brighten the front and everything. So it's you don't need something extraordinary. I mean, if you want to do this for a living, I highly suggest you getting LED panels and stuff like that. You don't have to get the Elgato key lights. Uh, I mean, they're nice. They work wonderful. I've seen them in action, and they are so wonderful. They are super bright. I mean, like you can just buy 2 of them or 3 of them, and then boom, you're set. Those things are amazing, but they're $200, and if you're, doing this on a budget, I don't recommend that. You can buy just an LED lights on Amazon for like 20, maybe $30. That will do the exact same thing, and then you can upgrade later whenever you go in, whenever you start building up a following on YouTube and stuff like that. But I have several suggestions for now. I gave you the starter, like sort of stuff: headset mic, phone as your camera, and just your regular computer stuff with 2 free softwares to help edit and record your stuff. Now, if you're wanting to upgrade later, this is what I suggest because I read the specs on it, and that's the one thing I do know my way around. I know my way around cameras. I know my way around uh audio and everything that sorts. I pride myself on it because I get when I was in school, I was recording stuff and everything that sorts, like recording music and everything that sorts. Not professionally or anything that sorts, but our class in school was teaching us how to do that, and she taught us how to, the importance of the microphone, what to look for if you're wanting to do something visual, what to look for in that, and so that's where my background in this whole entire thing started. But I made a list on B&H, which I highly recommend, that or Amazon, to buy your stuff. Uh, Now here's one in which it is the not Samsung, uh, Pearstone HDD high-speed HDMI to micro HDMI cable. That would be for your camera. Now, what that would do, you plug it into your camera, you plug in the micro HDMI, and you plug up the regular HDMI into your computer. It's pretty much standard that every laptop and regular computer has an HDMI uh, input. So you want to do that, and the reason for that is because you get the full quality of what you're looking for. Because if you plug it in through just USB, you're going to get half that, maybe even less than half. When you plug it into HDMI, you get that full extent. And that's what you want. The Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. What did I put that on there? Because I think, yeah, because if you're thinking about vlogging, now I remember. It's been a long day. If you're thinking about vlogging and stuff like that, I highly recommend you getting a damn good camera that can handle of course, outdoor plus go when you go indoors as well, handling that sort of transfer between low light to outdoor light. And the Samsung Galaxy S20 is the Ultra is the best when it comes to your photo taking and everything that sorts. That thing has I think it was like 108 megapixel wide angle and everything that sorts. It's got a 40 megapixel front camera, I think. Let's see. But this thing is a beast when it comes to, let's see, specs. Come on, let's go. Time is money. Well, not for me right now. But where you at? Where you at? There we go. Rear camera, wide angle lens is 108 megapixels with a 1 to 1.33 sensor. That is amazing, especially for that sort of thing. Especially for a phone. For a damn phone. This thing is like better than most cameras. Telephoto was 48 megapixel with a half-inch sensor. Ultra wide 12 megapixel sensor. And then a depth sensing, which is 0.3 megapixel, which it's not exactly like the best, but it's also not the worst. There's a lot that don't sit there and actually do it. Video recording, Ultra HD 8K, mind you, is 24 frames per second. Not bad. Not bad at all for 8K. Ultra HD 4K, 60 frames per second. I mean, you get that full extent in 4K. I mean, if you really wanted to, you can not even have to buy a camera to go and sit there and record your videos. You could just use this damn thing, and if you record a 4K face cam, which I don't recommend. Now, the reason for that is because of the fact that when you shrink it down, you're wasting resources. You're wasting, your computer's resources to go and do that 8K for such a small thing. I just recommend, of course, this does 1080p and 60 frames per second, which is what I recommend because I mean, you're wanting a good picture, but you don't need a fascinating picture. You want to focus more on the gameplay and have yourself become second. You want to provide more auditorily pleasing stuff than you want to do visually. Unless you're one of those people that sort of like some TikTok stars that do stuff visually, then I recommend this is very good for like if you're a TikTok artist or just do stuff from outside of the computer. This would be a nice thing to do. And of course, front camera, Ultra HD, 4K, 60 frames per second front camera. You can record, vlogs and stuff like that flawlessly in 4K. 1080p up to 30 frames per second, which is kind of weird that the 4K is 60 and the 1080p is 30, but that's why I chose the S20 Ultra, is because that is the best camera for vlogging. Now, you other cameras and stuff, like I got another one on here that's good for vlogging, but I would mostly use it for recording from behind the computer. Elgato Stream Deck, I chose it because of the fact so that way you can switch screens. Like right now, I don't have a Stream Deck, and there's a couple of free ones. There's one just called what the hell is it called? Deckboard, and it's an Android one in which you can sit there and it's just like a Stream Deck, and it's completely free and everything. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But the Elgato Stream Deck, if you're wanting to switch from webcam only to gameplay only, then you can flawlessly without without having to go to say back to the software in order for you to do so. It's also good for streaming if you wanting to of course change do transitions and stuff like that, start your recording, start your stream, so on and so forth. Elgato Camlink 4K is a must-have when you're using a high-quality camera. If you're using a high-quality camera to go and record your face cam and everything, I highly recommend an Elgato Camlink 4K because it does so wonderful. There is no hiccups on this thing when it comes to stream with from the camera to the Elgato. There is no lag, there is no nothing. This is just pure enjoyable goodness, and it's wonderful. There's a ring light. There's a ring light like I was talking about. $50. You can sit there, put it on your wall, flash it onto your face. You're good. The Blue Amber Cardioid condenser mic is one of the best / cheapest that I've seen when it comes to what's the XLR mics. And you can get a USB microphone, but you're not going to get that crispness from a USB like you could from a XLR. Sony ZV-1 digital camera. I got right here is the Vlogger accessory kit. Now, no, I'm not sponsored by B&H or anything. I just chose this because I found everything I was looking for on here. So it's be that what it may. With Vlogger accessory kit, it's pretty nice. This thing can do, let's see, Let's take a look at the specs. 'Cause I don't want to say something like trying to do it from memory and all of a sudden it's not true. I don't want to do that to you. Come on. Okay, so its max resolution is 5472 by 3648, which is damn good for a camera. It is a 20.1 megapixel camera, which is not bad. But the one thing you want to look for, because you're going to be doing most of this on there, is recording modes for video. You got the Ultra HD 4K, which goes all the way up to 29.97p or frames per second at 60 to 100 megabytes per second. It's wonderful, but that full HD is what we're looking for. And it can go all the way up to 119.88 frames per second from 16. I'm guessing that would probably be for the 119 there, 16 to 100 megabytes per second. Of course, you got your full HD here, which in the AVCHD mode, which is 50i to 60i, pretty much, 17 to 24 megabytes. Recording limit unlimited. This thing's pretty good, and it doesn't shut off on you in the middle of recording or anything of that sorts. It also has a flip side camera or a flip side screen right there, so you can actually see yourself and be able to tell, like, hey, is this focused on me or is it just like pointed to the wall behind me? You can actually tell that, which is really cool. And it's Sony, and Sony is very good at making cameras. I have never seen a horrible Sony camera. Never. There's one from 2000. I don't remember the name of it, but there's one from 2012 that a lot of YouTubers are using today because it is so trustworthy and so nice. Let's see. Let's go back. Then, of course, you got your XLR, or of course, your Go XLR, which a lot of people don't know about. Some people know about. A lot of YouTubers use it. This thing is very pricey, but it is worth it because this is one of the best mixers that is dedicated for recording and streaming that I've ever seen. And the reason for that is because right here, I accidentally clicked it. No, we're good. It has, of course, your mixers right here, your volume knobs, if you will. Right here, different categories. You can put one, like, say, to the music that's on your computer for your streaming, your background music, for your mic, for your game, and say for, I don't know, alerts. Or you could put it for other different things. It's really awesome. It's very customizable for that. Of course, you got your voice changer and your effects on here. And then they also made a Go XLR Mini, which is pretty much just this, like just this part right here. They don't have the effects or the voice changer or what have you. And it's half the price, which is awesome. But this thing is amazing. If I were to go for any of them, it really all depends on what you're going to be making. If you want to do like funny voices and stuff like that during your streams or recordings, go with this one. Go with the XLR, just to Go XLR. If you don't care about the voices and stuff like that, and you just want to be able to make sure that your mic is set up properly, your everything audibly is perfect, go with the Mini. Spend only half of that because you don't need all that extra stuff if you're not going to use it. So, go with the half on there, and that's what I would choose for, say, if you wanted to do this full time, and you wanted to put, like, if you started, making some, getting a lot of views in, YouTube or say Twitch or Facebook gaming or something to that effect, and you're starting to, do good and everything, and you want to upgrade and provide better stuff for everybody, that's the stuff I would choose. Because of the fact that it's cost effective. You're not paying an arm and a leg for, stuff except for the Go XLR. But like I said, you can go with the Mini, and it's half of that. But It's cost effective. It's good for what it is, and it'll last you a while. Like that Blue Ember, uh, I've seen people get that, and it lasts them for I don't know, like they're probably still using it now. Like Blue is a very good microphone company. They are. They I mean they we first started. I mean, it started with a Blue Yeti, and the Blue Yeti. I wish I would have got that a long time ago, but the Blue Yeti is one of the best mics you'll see, and of course, it just went up from there. It did. Like if you want to go professional mic, uh, and of course, you can always buy the big. Damn it! You can always buy the big expensive ones. Um, but really, not really. That needed. Uh, I wouldn't even suggest getting a big fancy mic unless you're doing like recording, like music recording. But doing YouTube, I suggest just the Blue Ember because it's only $100. I mean, for streaming I mean, if you find something that's below $100, you're probably going to be getting a crappy quality mic. Anything above $100 is going to be good. So when you buy just $100 mic, you're looking for good quality sound. And like I've seen some Amazon ones, which is like, $20 microphone or an $80 microphone or a 41. 9 times out of 10, those are going to be such crappy quality microphones that it's not even going to be worth it. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's sad but true. Camera. I mean, hell, I'm using a cheapo phone as a camera right now. Not bad picture. Could be better, but not a bad picture for what it is. Yeah, like it's. And if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. And of course, you have yourself a wonderful day and be safe. Bye bye.